This game preview is brought to you by Manscaped's Foot Duster Foot Deodorant. Say goodbye to stinky foot funk with this essential deodorant spray. Head over to manscaped.com and use the promo code SACCITY for 20% off and free worldwide shipping. The Foot Duster Foot Deodorant by Manscaped. The best protection any place below the waist.
The Kansas City Chiefs are hosting the Washington Commanders. Aaron, it's the Commanders again. It's Carson Wentz. It's this old team. What are you looking forward towards in this game between the Commanders and the Chiefs?
Yeah, let's be honest. We talked about it last week. The running back situation is very, very fluid right now. Antonio Gibson is still listed as the starter, but we've talked about the question marks there. Brian Robinson played really well week one. You know how I feel about one-time preseason games or a couple of preseason games that are a nice run. I still need to see more. But I am interested to see how if Antonio Gibson gets a little bit more run and they try to get him going. I think we all can agree that Antonio Gibson, talent-wise, is a really talented player. We've seen it in spurts. We've watched games where he's gone for almost 200 yards, particularly against my Dallas Cowboys a few times. And I just think he needs to get his confidence back. So I wonder if they're going to play him a little bit more, or do they say, you know what, maybe let's continue to play Brian Robinson and see if we just can move on from an Antonio Gibson. So I'm really looking at that situation, especially as the fantasy season rolls around. I think that's big, but also just from a player development perspective from an Antonio Gibson. I don't think you need to see a lot of J.D. McKissic. We know what he is. I think this is about Brian Robinson and Antonio Gibson and which one is going to be that lead back. Do they trust Brian Robinson enough on third downs in certain situations? Do they trust him around the goal line? Things like that is really, really what I'm looking for.
Yeah. On the Chiefs side, they will be playing their starters. There were reports that came out saying that this is the week for the Kansas City Chiefs starters. Next week, they will not play. This is their final time to really get game action. AJ, what are you hoping to see from the starters from the Chiefs?
Yeah, that actually excited me a little bit because you're going to get to see some of these receivers that we're looking for and what they could do for Patrick Mahomes, and specifically a Marquez Valdez-Scantling and a Sky Moore. While I know they have MVS for that number 3 role, I think they really need to know what's going on with Juju Smith-Schuster and Mecole Hardman nursing injuries. You're going to get to see these guys play a little bit more, and I'm excited to see if Sky Moore has actually stepped up to the plate and kind of picked up the NFL speed of things, at least to the preseason standard. We talked about Pat Mahomes wanting to spread this ball around. I know they're talking about playing the starters. I'd be surprised if Pat Mahomes plays more than the quarter while the rest of the receivers and everybody stays in for the second half. But looking at that, seeing if Marquez Valdez-Scantling has picked up this offense, if Sky Moore can be the player at least I thought he would be. And then also with the running game, I do think they're going to try to put in Isaiah Pacheco a little bit too to give Clyde Edwards and Jerick McKinnon a run for their money in the season. So there's some new pieces on this offense that get to step up today. And we'll be looking forward to seeing if they are what we thought they would be when they were drafted.
Yeah, there's a lot of talent on the Kansas City Chiefs side of the ball, even if the starters are not playing. Although the GOAT Chad Henne will not be playing in this game, I really am excited to see Isaiah Pacheco get out there and do some work. He'll be getting some work on the special teams, returning kicks as well. He's got a lot of talent, man. He could be something special.
He's going to be their third. He's going to end up being their third down back. I think he's going to get a ton of receptions this year. You look at guys who catch the ball out of the backfield, and you look at who's on the roster for the Kansas City Chiefs. Not sure anybody really stands out that really can just take that job and run with it. And I think that rookie, I think he could end up being the guy. Ronald Jones is not that guy really out of the backfield. You see he's falling down the depth chart. Matter of fact, Ronald Jones is 4th on the depth chart now. Jerick McKinnon played well at the end of last season. They like him, but he's kind of I don't say a fragile guy, but he's been banged up over the course of his career. He's versatile as well, but I really do think Isaiah Pacheco comes in. He might take over as that third down pass catching back. And in Kansas City, we saw what a Darrell Williams was able to do. Saw what Damian Williams was able to do before that. So catching the ball in the backfield. I think that could be a big key piece for them. And then also, I think Pat Mahomes might play the first half. Andy Reid is not afraid of injuries. And again, this speaks to my point. Like, he knows in 2 weeks, Patrick Mahomes is going to have to be on the field. He's going to have to play. He might get tackled the first play of the game and get hurt, and it's going to be what it is. They're going to have to find a way to get around it. So he's been hurt before. The Chiefs have kind of work through it. I don't think Andy Reid is scared. I think he just tell Patrick Mahomes, hey, be smart. If you're going to get sacked, throw it away. We don't need to win the game. Just we want to get our rhythm. We want our offense to be looking better than it looked at the beginning of last year. And it's important, especially with all these new weapons. So I would not be shocked if Kansas City played Patrick Mahomes the first half and then decided to sit him, especially if they're not going to play next week.
Yeah, Andy Reid said we'll go somewhere in the first half with the ones. It might be shorter than that, but I'm just going to see how things go. I do think we see a lot more of Patrick Mahomes than what we see of other starters in the league. I think another interesting point before we get into our predictions is the development and the progression of Sam Howell. I know Carson Wentz is the starter for the Commanders for Week 1, but we've talked about it on our show before. And if you missed our Commanders training camp preview show, I believe we talked about Sam Howell might be getting in earlier than expected, and don't be surprised by it, depending on how Carson Wentz played. Last week against the Panthers, Sam Howell showed the ability to at least move the ball, going 9 of 16, 145 yards. He showed he was able to move the ball against backups against Carolina. His development is going to be huge, and I think that all these games matter for him, and all these games kind of matter for Carson Wentz just because of how Sam Howell does, because Sam Howell is going to keep creeping. He's going to keep creeping, and we might all see.
The turd can't hold him off.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. One day it might just happen, and it starts in preseason with Sam Howell in this game against the Chiefs. I will go with the Chiefs in this game, 28-21 Chiefs.
I'll go next. If the Chiefs are playing their starters, if Patrick Mahomes is pulled early, it's probably one of two reasons. Either they can't protect him, or he's already thrown 3 touchdowns, and it's looking like he's dominant as always. So I will take the Chiefs in this one, 31-16.
We're going 3 for 3 here. I'm taking the Chiefs. I'm going to go 27-20.